bring that voice back to the government.
Aloha and mabuhay. You know, my story is very similar to most of our Filipino community here in Hawaii. Like every other culture, we all came here on ships, and eventually we joined your canoe and became part of the community and the culture, respecting one another, finding the quality of life where we could live together. And in doing so, this next generation needed to come up. And like most Filipino families, it was my family that said education was the great equalizer. And so I went off to college and then eventually became an attorney, a practicing attorney in the state of Hawaii. Served as a deputy prosecutor here on Moloka'i with family domestic violence units, as well as serving at the state house under Representative Tom Mayoral, as well as Congresswoman Daisy Barono, getting the state and federal level experience, all for that purpose of bringing it back home so that we can utilize this next generation of leadership. It is time to do away with status quo and move forward with new innovative ideas. Looking at Moloka'i, we need communication. We need to be able to communicate with Maui. We need to have that transportation that could alleviate a lot of the embargoes and the shipping burdens that happen here that raises the cost of living. We need to invest, the county needs to invest in at least shipping methods so that we can allow our people to here on Moloka'i to have more of an economic diversity, as well as making sure we protect our natural resources. I am a great believer in open spaces and have done very much so in my record. So thank you very much.
Aloha, Aloha. It's so good to see all these new faces. It's my first time to Moloka'i. I never went to law school, but I've been in many a courtroom. And I did have the opportunity to represent myself many times. They say that a fool would represent himself. I'm a fool. I'm running because I cannot stand this system anymore. My kids are grown. My daughter will be 16 in a couple of days. I've known for a long time as I've grown up, something wasn't right with the way this government works. It wasn't until a few years ago that I learned that I'm a direct descendant of some of the founding fathers of the United States. That my 11th great-grandfather, who came over on the Mayflower, had a grandson named John Adams, who wrote the Declaration of Independence. And John is speaking through me right now. I have in my pocket the Declaration of Independence. It sits on my heart. And I'm being guided by my ancestors, who I listen to, and I look to them for guidance. As a representative of Generation X and as a father of millennial children, I'm asking you, the older generation, to share with us your wisdom. What have you learned through your life that we can help the future generations? Thank you.
Aloha and mabuhay to all this evening. Many of you have known me for many years. From my days when I coached Little League and soccer, came over here with the Board of Education, the School Advisory Council. I served this community, Moloka'i, Lanai, and Maui for the past 45 years. And I'm proud to say that I've seen Maui in many areas improve themselves. Unfortunately, we've lost all our agriculture. Our major agriculture is done. So diversified ag is now really in the forefront, whether it's traditional, organic, whatever. We need to continue to promote self-sustainability. When it comes to the areas of our facilities, right here in Moloka'i, we know what we need because you've told us that. Many of you have told us that out at Pu'oko, you need another fire station. You need a fire station that belongs to the county, not leased land from the state. The police department right here and fire department, when they have heavy rains, you still get some flooding issues. And you also need more park space because this park and this area is so heavily used for all the various recreation, whether it's Little League, soccer, or softball, whatever it might be. You, the people of Moloka'i, have told me many times that this pool needs to stay open. And remember when they wanted to close it down over weekends, we fought hard, Mateo and I, to make sure it stayed open. So we've always heard your concerns. We've heard what you need. We've heard what you want. You want to have a life that you continue to have your families live here, raise their families here. And that's something that I can assure you of. I can collaborate with all parties. It doesn't make a difference to me. My door has always been open. I've never shut my door to anyone. And I will say this, as your mayor, I will make sure that somebody's here to let me know what needs to be done on a daily basis. So I want to say mahalo to all of you. I've got to say good night because I have a flight to catch. Tomorrow, on Friday, my son is retiring from baseball. Many of you know who he is. And I promised him I'd be there. So I have an early flight tomorrow to go back. So I'm sorry I can't stay for the whole event, but I spent time with all of you tonight. And I thank you. God bless you all. And aloha.
Thank you for at least staying and introducing yourself. Sorry about that. Okay, for our remaining candidates. Our first question is in regard to cost of living. Hawaii has one of the highest costs of living in the nation, causing a significant burden on local and multi-generational residents. For example, residents are disadvantaged in buying power against off-island market forces, wherein down payment savings on a home or to start a business is burdensome for locals against non-residents that aren't high-cost burden and able to accrue savings and invest here in the state, an advantage over residents. As mayor, how will you even the playing field for Maui County at least? And we will start with Mr. Guzman.
Thank you for the question. So as mayor, there are several options that we can look at and looking at the federal level as well as the state level for creating programs and basically energizing the economic development here in Moloka'i. We can create an economic development revolving loan fund, which has actually been used on the mainland, that is actually can give out loans for businesses and would actually increase the ability to obtain assets right here on Moloka'i funding sources, as well as looking at CDBG funding from development block grants to another source of funding to surge into developing businesses as well as food hubs as well. When we're talking about food hubs, then we have to look at USDA rural funding as well. So those areas are all funding sources that we can look at. We can also look at DCCA at the state level, where they're doing youth financial mentoring programs. And so as mayor, I definitely would make sure that we look into diversifying our economy here, as well as making sure that it's at the proper growth, and having the ability to have transportation back and forth from here to Maui, having a barge, maybe even a subsidized barge. We spend at 1.2 million for buses, so I'm pretty sure if we look into, let's say, a private-public partnership, we can probably try to find some type of transportation that could at least compete with Young Brothers at some level. So thank you very much for the question.
Mr. Hawks.
Thank you. I'm very familiar with the cost of living and how hard it is to maintain rent and the other bills that we have here. Electricity is extremely high, as we know. Gas is incredibly high, which I don't understand, because oil price is so low per barrel, but we're paying more now than we were in 2008 when oil barrel prices were 200. We got a system that's rigged, y'all. I got to say it. I mean, enough. These corporations are making money off us, and we gotta pay it. Why? We're born free people, aren't we? Don't we got life, liberty, and a pursuit of happiness? That electricity comes from the sun. That water comes from the sky. How's it we're allowing corporations and government to control that? We don't need to. We don't need to. Like Don said, we don't have to keep playing by their same rules. We can make new ones. After all, that's what the United States did. When they said, enough already from you, England, you're taxing us. You remember the Boston Tea Party? Started the Revolutionary War over somebody trying to tax their tea without representation. And yet, how much money do they want to take from us? And do what with it? How are they representing me? Bombing people. Criminalizing poverty. Banks scamming us. House prices through the roof. Even the way they build houses. It's crazy. I'm a builder. Single wall construction, those houses from the plantation area, they're still standing. But these ones they build nowadays are junk. $300,000 or $775,000 for junk. No thanks.
Ms. Comfort.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Okay. Sorry, I was looking at the next one already. Okay, sorry. No, my bad. Cost of living. Hawaii has one of the highest costs of living in the nation, causing a significant burden on local and multi-generational residents. For example, residents are disadvantaged in buying power against off-island market forces, wherein down payment savings on a home or to start a business is burdensome for locals against non-residents that aren't high cost burden and able to accrue savings and invest here in the state, an advantage over residents. As mayor, how will you even the playing field in Maui County?
Mahalo. And this island has definitely its challenges, as we all know. And with the loss of the boat system that we had, we can, I believe, revive that. Senator Illinois did mention that because we are separated by water, our waterways are our interstate. And there is funding we can seek at the federal level. So that is one opportunity I feel is lacking and we need to tap into to reinstate a boat for cheaper travel, and that will help you folks, get to and from Costco and all the other shopping, and have our keiki and teens and things be able to go back and forth. And I think this island, I know this island has all the makings and all the natural and renewable resources it needs to be a huge economic success. And we need to go back to the heritage of the people of Moloka'i. And that is the sustainable agriculture, the sustainable way of living. I'm pushing forward a bill about sustainable and restoration of our Moloka'i and our fish ponds. And imagine the fisheries we can create and the economic driver from that and the jobs that's created. Go ahead and restore the forests for industry, but also for jobs, and take care of the erosion issues. And it all just goes hand in hand for the Ahupua'a. I know that Sustainable Moloka'i has the mobile market going on, which is just going through the roof and can't even have enough agriculture to supply. So that's awesome. We just need to get more and empower and get grants and funding for entrepreneurs. Your island has some of the most creative, talented, skilled people. The jewelry I have on came from you. I have clothes, I have art, I have pottery, I have paintings, I have so many beautiful things that were made by your hands, and we need to monopolize on that.
Okay, thank you. So with that being said, Mr. Hawks, we'll start with you on the next question. It has to do with family farming. Agriculture is a powerfully important industry, especially to addressing Hawaii's reliance on offshore food. As mayor, what will you do to support and grow the numbers of small local family farms and ranches?
Thank you. Talking more about my family history. From the East Coast, my family walked across the continent of North America to the West Coast, homesteading as they went. When a village set up in a place where there wasn't a village, there was three things that was needed: a farmer, a carpenter, and metalsmith. If you had those three bases covered, you could have a flourishing community. We know we import our food, we import our lumber, and we import any metal. Why? If those are the things we need, why don't we have it? It's simple, really. They don't want us to have them. They cut the trees down and leave them lay. Why not mill them up and build some nice Hawaiian hardwood single wall homes? The cars, they get burned and thrown to the wayside. Those are resources. They ship them all over here. We pay out the wazoo for the car. Why can't we recycle it? We need to bust open the door on farming, and that means kick the corporations out of the driver's seat. We need to have laws that allow farmers to live on the land they farm on. I farmed above Napili. I had to rent a place off the farm and then work sun up to sundown. It didn't make any sense, but it's illegal for me to live on the land. They kicked me off when they found I was camping there. How's that?
Ms. Cochran.
Thank you. Increasing family farming. Well, I know that a huge percentage of lands here is Department of Hawaiian Homelands, and I think that was should be their mission in life to get our Kanakamole back on the lands and farming and being living subsistence and sustainably. So definitely would have to go knock on that door and talk story in the office about all that. But you know, the Moloka'i ranch lands are up for sale. And I've been tossing around the idea that perhaps, you know, the county can look at that. And first off, definitely an appraisal, because I think that $260 million price tag is a little steep. So I think this county can do wonders with all that land. And again, we have money and we have the resources, and that would provide a lot of but the voice is yours. How would you like to utilize all the lands? Is it for farming? Is it for renewable energy? Is it for housing? And so that's where we all would come to the table. And at least if it's in the public hands versus the private hands, we have a better chance of accomplishing the dreams and the goals we all set out. And that's been one of the things I've been thinking about. So hopefully, I know there was a meeting, survey last night, and one of the top things is our natural resources in Hawaiian culture. So that goes hand in hand with ownership and control of a lot of the lands here, waters. We can accomplish all those dreams and goals. So thank you for the question, and looking forward to rolling that out.
Supporting our family farms is most important, as speaking from the chair of the Agriculture Committee for the last 3 terms. And so having that experience, I did fly out to Portland, Oregon, and they have a concept called Food Hub, where it's a tri-level co-op, where you have the farmer at one level, you have the wholesaler and the retailer, all as part of one co-op. So something as simple as that, creating a co-op, a multi-tiered co-op here on Moloka'i, would very much so stimulate the need to produce more produce. Now, how do we get to that level? How do we then start supporting our farmers to produce more? So we're looking at USDA loan funds so that we can actually help them buy the equipment, get additional lands for them, and also how do we then get those produce to market? This is where the county needs to step in and start creating transportation back and forth. And when we're talking about creating farm businesses here on Moloka'i, we have to put one thing in place, because what's special about Moloka'i is the people, and making sure that any business that comes to Moloka'i has a community beneficial package, community benefit package plan. What they bring here has to benefit the community first before they make money there. So we all have to work together in creating this type of farming type model that other countries and other states would come here and say, wow, that's incredible how you use alternative energy, how you created a small community refinery to lower your cost of fuel. This is all community based. This could be the model here and still be protected by a mutual understanding agreement that any businesses that come here have to bring in a community benefit and follow our community policies and rules and lifestyle. We don't want to change our lifestyle. Thank you.
Yes, I'm having a senior moment. Call me. I forgot where I'm at. Okay. Help me out here. Everybody answered the question, right? Okay. Here, whose turn is it to go first? Okay. Yes, it was. Okay. Our next question to our candidates. Do you support public land trust? El, we started with you this time. Yeah. Call Mike. Okay, better job.
It's okay, gotta have fun, right? Public land trusts?
Do you
Well,
support public land trust?
Yes, I have worked with a few over on the island of Maui, and in particular Honolulu, where I live, and did the Save Honolulu Coalition. But again, a lot of the lands here, we have state lands, yes. We have very few in the bigger picture county lands, and a lot of private Moloka'i ranch lands, and a few private ownerships. So I feel anytime we can get public oversight, public control, public voice in how we're managing, how we malama the areas, the better. And I think it's a need. And this island in particular can be the role model for the rest of the islands. And if we just need that political will, though, to stand up and fight and bring all the players to the table and have a truly honest, open discussion to really vet out what is real and what people can do and benefit with, and give to each other. Corporation, they have stockholders and shareholders. They're beholden to them. I understand that. But, we cannot come here and just steamroll over people on the name of money. And we have a strong heritage, Hawaiian heritage here, and it needs to be protected. So the more our public voice can be involved in decision making, the better. And that's, in my opening comments, why I'm running and why I love coming here to be a part of the island, because I know you folks, when you have something to say, you say it, and you come together strong to stand for it. And that's what makes things happen for you, the people, because you stand strong. So I mahalo you for that, and I'm here to malama and create more of that. Mahalo.
Okay, Mr. Hawks.
So, do I support public land trust? Well, that sounds like a trick question. I do support taking care of the land, which is part of the people. So in essence, I do support public land. However, public land trust, I do not support. There's a reason I don't support them, it's because I know what they are and who they are, because I've researched who they are. I went to their website, publiclandtrust.org. I encourage you guys to do the same. You can look on one of their last pages about their partnerships. They list corporate sponsorships right there on their website. Dow Chemical, ExxonMobil, Morgan Stanley. No thank you. These are these corporations we've been talking about. Public land trust is misguiding us. Okay, the government is feeding us this BS. Not okay. I got their playbook right here, folks. Okay? This is a book, it's called Technocracy in America. Technocracy is a new form of government that those corporations are rolling out on us. It's a fancy way of saying kleptocracy. I know I said I wasn't a lawyer, but I can rap like one. Okay, kleptocracy is a government where thieves and criminals run the government. Okay, technocracy is a nice way of saying that. We don't want a technocracy. We want self-representation. We don't even need representatives anymore. We've got an app, it's called We, where you can tell the government what you need. And you won't need representatives anymore. We'll just have management that's transparent. Not like Ellie's Management Corporation, that's a for-profit operation from these folks. Okay, we need to understand the difference. They use words like protect, conserve, sustainable.
Thank you.
Stay akamai, huh?
Thank you for the question. Just to define what is a public land trust. So my colleague here is correct in some ways in saying that, yeah, there can be corrupt land trust, because it is a legal entity like a corporation, but a land trust is just a vehicle to avoid conveyance doctrines like rules against perpetuity, where if you pass away, the land can stay within the trust, and many people are the beneficiaries of that trust. So it is a legal entity, and like all other legal entities, could be corrupt, and also needs to be monitored by our state, as well as most likely the federal government on some of the standards that they use. But here's an idea. In using a land trust, which are very beneficial to preserving our open spaces and our conservation, and we're implying that those land trusts that are in existence are doing the right thing. So why don't we take that step one further up and think about an affordable agricultural land trust. And this would be created with the county, as well as, let's say, a public-private partnership where we could create an agricultural land trust, where we could have land available for young farmers to come and farm, and we could keep the land at an affordable price because we own the land. It would be held as a long-term lease like we would do at the Hawaiian homelands as well. But this would be no matter what, whether you're Hawaiian, Filipino, Caucasian, you could have the ability to have affordable acreage for farming on agricultural land, trust land. And we can keep that very much so affordable because we, the trust, can control the selling point, as well as all the tenants that would be within the land trust itself. They would be governed under the rules of the land trust. So thank you.
Okay, our last question this evening for our mayoral candidates has to do with climate change. Climate change is real, and as a Native people, we anticipate being only one of a few locations suitable in the Pacific region for climate refugees from other Pacific nations. What leadership role do you envision as the mayor of Maui County to bring the larger Pacific region together to prepare and begin working and preparing together? You guys understood the question? Yeah. Okay. Hey, one up on me, guys. All right. We will start. We will start with Mr. Guzman.
Thank you for the question. So recently I proposed a charter amendment which actually did not pass because my fellow colleague voted no on it. But it was actually called the Office of Sustainability, Reliance, and Climate Change, which Honolulu was able to pass. And this is an office that created a commission to monitor and do surveys to get us prepared for the climate changes. And here's some of the stats that Honolulu came up with in better preparing their island for the near future of the climate change, for foreseeable changes that could be possible. So the recommendations that came out said that 12.9 billion land assets in Honolulu would be affected through climate change and sea level rise. 13,300 residents would be affected. 3,880 structures would be affected through sea level rise. 17.7 miles of roadway would be affected. And now they're starting to progressively make plans to alleviate or mitigate some of those changes that would be coming. What have we done? We couldn't even pass legislation. And when I'm a mayor, I'm going to make sure that we at least create an office to find some of these and create a plan for databasing and moving forward to mitigate some of those, as working and also working with Honolulu's office. So that's as a mayor's directive I would have to do, since we don't have it in charter. So thank you very much.
Elle?
Thank you. And just real quickly, we have a department called Department of Environmental Management, which I believe is the charge of that department to focus on issues such as sea level rise, climate change, any environmental type of issues, and there's a newly created division to assist with that, and we have a new manager. So I'm already confident that we shall be addressing this. But back to the question, we're going through your Moloka'i community plan, and every lifeboat has a carrying capacity. Every elevator has a carrying capacity. An island definitely has a carrying capacity. There's only so much land to go around, so it's up to the community, in conjunction with the government decision makers, to decide who or how much are we going to grow or not grow, and where. So that's in the makings of the plans that we put forward through the community. And I worked on a climate change, sea level rise group for President Obama. And it was, people don't think inland, in the inner states of the continent, that they have to worry about sea level rise. And once people keep retreating inward, they are going to be inundated with the people, because they no longer can live on the coastline. So I was just discussing this with another person and looking to see about funding to assist. What do we do? I have most of the shoreline in West Maui that I represent is falling into the ocean, and seawalls are the answer for the people. And no, it's creating more loss of the beach. And so there's a problem with that. And there's no simple answer, but we're trying to see if there's like any taxation incentives to perhaps get people to give up that property, and then the counties can demolish and take back the lands that need it. But it's a big question, but I think it's up to the community to decide how much influx of people they would like to see.
Mr. Bach.
Thank you. We could just go to Oahu. They got skyscrapers there. So no matter how high the water raises, you get plenty room to go up. No, not really. The sea level rising is an environmental concern, right? We know that. So let's talk about protecting the environment. Again, I have to caution that those powers that be use those very same words to confuse us. Okay, an example of it was what Ellie brought before the committee, which I happened to be there at the other day. She says, Mayor, I request a matter relating to the implementation of Section 8-15.34 of the revised charter, okay, as it relates to the sustainability and restoration of traditional Hawaiian fish ponds. Sounds good. So I get a copy of it from the charter. It says, guide efforts to optimize the opportunities for environmental, natural resource protection, sustainability, conservation, and restoration. That right there gives them the go-ahead to do whatever they want, so long as they say it's for our own good, or protecting our environment. I'll ask you again, Ellie, what does that have to do with fish ponds? Why are you saying it's fish ponds? It's nothing to do with fish ponds. Okay, this coercion right in front of your faces, right in front of our faces, I'm going to tell you guys about it. I'm not going to let you guys be left in the dark. I spend hours and hours every day researching this. I've been doing it for years. Okay, I'm taking the gloves off right now. Enough of this corruption. It's getting rooted out. Okay, so pay attention. In the news in the next coming weeks, before the primary election, we're going to have big changes happening. Okay? We're going to see the truth of the matter. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Okay, we'd like to extend a big mahalo to our mayoral candidates that took the time to come and visit with us this evening and share a little bit about themselves and their views. We can. Oh. Yeah, that was supposed to be Brian's job. Okay, just a reminder. Early voting is available now from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. right here in the Metropolitan Center conference room out in the front. If you have not yet registered, you can actually register at the polls. Primary election is August 11th. We have another candidates forum coming up after the primary election, September.
That's it from Moloka'i. Mahalo for joining us and all we hope.
Thank you all for joining us this evening. We appreciate you taking the time to come out and meet the candidates and hear what they have to say on the issues that you asked.